What's up, guys? It's DTC. I'm Maurice, and this is TK. So today we're gonna talk about Amazing Spider-Man number 797 and 798, which is called "Go Down Swinging."
We're supposed to do that at the same time.
We're supposed to do that at the same time. Let's do it again. Go Down Swinging. I think this is written by Dan Slott.
Yeah, Dan Slott. Oh, right here. So we got the issue 797 right here. So it's written by Dan Slott.
And the artwork, if you want to show that.
Cover art, we can go there.
Yeah, the guy who pretty much went in deep with this cover art, which is beautiful, beautiful. Alex Ross. If you guys are familiar with his work, Kingdom Come, Justice, he does like that real realistic, cool style. Right, and he's one of our favorite, artists too. Look at that detail. It's pretty good detail. So, Go Down Swinging. What it's all about? It's for the return of the Green Goblin. And what is it that he's looking for?
Green Goblin. Right now, he's looking for, I think, what he's always been looking for, and that's a weapon against Spider-Man, something to take out Spider-Man, because obviously he's one of those villains that just fails in accomplishing that. But he wants the identity. He wants to know Spider-Man's identity. I guess that is kind of a weapon. Like, I know his identity. That's it. And throughout the book, you can see why it's a major weapon. It's crazy thing to have.
He's always been obsessed with that, with knowing who is Spider-Man. Because just like he mentioned, I think majority of villains want to know the identity of their arch nemesis, because they could always use that against them.
That's leverage.
Exactly, especially with friends, family. So he's obsessed with finding the identity of Spider-Man. So what is he doing? He's trying to figure out the connection of all these characters that are connected to Spider-Man, like Flash Thompson.
Everyone, Mary Jane, even his own son.
Yeah, Harry Osborn. Harry Osborn, which I think he has a child right now.
He be creeping on them too.
Yeah, well, there's a few scenes in the comic book. One of them is that he's creeping up on Harry Osborn, his wife, I think, and their child, and a babysitter. And you kind of see him like looking to the tree, trying to see like what's going on over there. I guess he's just trying to figure out what connection he has to Spider-Man. And I think there's also another scene that he's like on the rooftop, and he's creeping on Mary Jane and Spider-Man, because you can't have Spider-Man without the Mary Jane relationship.
Just behind a tree for his son. He's just creeping.
And then you're like, you gotta show that. Look at the creeper mode right there. He's just like a little slight right there. And I think there's also a scene that he's like on keeping an eye.
She's so scared. She's like, what? Somebody, I feel an energy.
And there's also like a part that him and Mary Jane are kind of like talking. I think we were talking about it earlier, how like, the whole Mary Jane, Peter Parker thing.
It's so like, at first it was interesting, I guess, just story to get around, like, oh my god, yeah, she knows he's Spider-Man, but can it really work? He has these villains and everything like that. And then it just got to the point like, yo, forget about her. Like, forget about that whole relationship. Forget about that, because, at the end of the day, you guys are not going to be together. You guys are not going to do anything. And not saying that I don't want it to happen, but it's just...
No, yeah, because they've always tried to make it work. By the end of the day, Spider-Man has to focus on saving the world. So she always knew that. And she never wanted to hold him back. And it was always like a back and forth, like, I want to be with you, but I know I can't have you.
She did the same thing in here.
And that's like the fourth time.
Yeah.
So we were kind of like over that.
If I was Spider-Man, I would have been...
So he pretty much there. Would you say they're about to get it on, and then they start with the same thing of, we can't do this again, and they kind of agree, and he swings away, and then you see Norman Osborn creeping.
You go get him, Tiger. That's what she said. You go get him, Tiger.
And you see Norman Osborn creeping again, and he's like, again, there's a connection. Mary Jane, Harry Osborn. You have the people that work in the Daily Bugle. They also mention Flash Thompson. So there's a scene that he's looking at a wall, kind of like a detective.
Yeah. He has like what do you call that? I know it's something like a web. I don't know.
It's like
when detectives put like pieces together, you see them in movies and stuff.
And
like
they try to like link up,
like put strings
to find a connection.
There's a name for that.
So he's obsessed. He needs to know. So it comes out that he has kidnapped someone. And
that's how the story starts off. He's actually going through it and talking about, talking to the person he kidnapped. We don't know yet in this issue 797 until a certain point, but
we know that they're close to Spider-Man. Who is it? We don't know, but he's kind of teasing that, like, listen, in some way or other, you're gonna let me know who Spider-Man is. And Green Goblin's always been a little bit psycho.
Yeah, how would you describe Green Goblin? Because he does things in here that, like, there's one certain. Well, we're gonna talk about that rat part.
Yeah, he's always been borderline crazy because especially since he got not contaminated, but like when he used that superhero serum, which is not the same thing as Cap, but he used it. It kind of made him nuts.
Yeah.
So he's always been borderline nuts. So the scene, you want to talk about that scene? There's a scene there that involves. Let him say it. It's pretty cool.
It's very interesting. That's what I was saying. So Green Goblin himself is like kind of crazy.
Yeah.
But now I'm talking about. There's levels of crazy then.
He's like...
Because I feel like there's something that pushed him to do this. I don't think the regular Green Goblin would have done this, but...
well, that's the thing, though. As you're reading this...
The scene we're talking about right now...
Yeah, look at this.
Is that he takes a chunk... Well, he takes the head of a rat off. And the way he even dove into it, like right for it, he was like...
And there's little hints... letting you know, wait a minute, this isn't the regular Green Goblin.
So that's a different kind of crazy.
He's like on another level, but they show little hints of it. So he's pretty much telling this person, he's like, listen, you're gonna tell me who Spider-Man is, and if you don't, it's gonna get a little bit crazier. And then he hears like a little noise, and he's like, there's a rodent around here. He just grabs it like TK mentioned.
Yeah.
He just rips his head off, and he's like, this could be you if you don't tell me who Spider-Man is.
I guess that's one way to torture somebody.
Like, hey, fool! Go clean your mouth off! And like, you see his teeth, they're like kind of like sharp, you know.
Imagine threatens him to like kiss him or something.
I'll be like, oh man. So he's getting crazy there. So I think from there on out, you know, we already know that he had kidnapped somebody. Mm-hmm. But before that, he hears another noise. Yeah. And I think it's the Goblin King. Mm-hmm. So what about like the Goblin King?
Phil is his name. So Goblin King came in, and at this point we see the location was mentioned.
Yeah.
He talks about where he's keeping this hostage held. And it was in a gentleman's club that he owned. It
used to be one that Norman Osborn owned.
In the Upper East Side, yeah.
Yeah.
So he owns it. So I'm guessing, well, from what it looks like, we got the Goblin King coming in. Is it Goblin King? I always said King Goblin.
We think it's King Goblin sounds better. King Goblin. Goblin King. Kind of the same.
Well, you sound like Batman.
Because I like to talk sometimes.
So we have that point. King Goblin comes in, and he's actually trying to steal, the Green Goblin's. The Green Goblin stuff.
Because he also mentions that, before they get into there's gonna be a little battle. He kind of mentions the Green Goblin. I took you under my wing. I trained you. I got you to where you want to be. So I think the Goblin King knew in this gentleman's club there's an area there with like stash of Green Goblin gear and stuff. So that's why he's there. Because we were confused at first. We were like, what's he even doing there?
Yeah, I guess he ran out of materials.
Yeah, so he goes there and then he runs into the Green Goblin and. What is it that he's like telling him? He's like kind of like...
He's like telling him the whole time, he's like, hey, listen. Well, first, King Goblin's not scared of him.
No, yeah.
He's telling him like, hey, listen, what we know, we all know what happened to you. We know that Spider-Man took away your powers.
Yeah.
Basically, took away what made you Green Goblin. So right there, he's showing that, hey, I'm not scared of you. You could be here. I don't care. While I'm taking your shit.
And it sounds like, if you guys are not really aware with Green Goblin, like... Yeah, he has this mask and everything, but what happened to him? He has like superpowers. He's very versatile.
Yeah, he's just not a clown or something.
He's what would you say? Like someone who can test Spider-Man. Fighting and everything.
Of course,
he's not an easy.
He's
villain.
Awesome, actually. I like him as a villain. All the Spider-Man.
Yeah, he's pretty much telling him, he's like, listen, I ain't afraid of you. We all know what Spider-Man did to you. He took the ability of you to turn into the Green Goblin. So what you gonna do to me?
So Goblin King challenges him, goes on to a short battle, as you said, really short, probably like 2 panels long or 2 pictures long, and he goes for the kill to kill Green Goblin, and Green Goblin is like, no, that's not gonna happen. Like, are you serious? And then he's like, oh my god, how can you do this? Because
even the Goblin King saw something in him that changed. He's like, wait a minute, you're not the Green Goblin. Well, this isn't the old you. And he just...
Yeah, the yellow Goblin.
Yeah, no, it's not that. He sees there's something different about him. And then, look at that!
I don't know if that was the sound effects.
Is it? No, watch that. Oh, it's screw it.
Yeah.
Which we're gonna put this up.
Yeah. You'll see it. I don't want to keep showing you images and then you probably can't see it because I'm not holding it right.
Yeah. But we'll put it up and things so you can see the kill.
Stabs him. He actually kills him. Yeah. He stabs him through his heart, and there's like a shadow. It's a shadow scene, so you get to see the shadow of it in the background, in the wall itself, and you can see something different. And the difference is the hand right there, as you can see.
You would think it's his regular hand, but it's not. So that also lets us know, wait a minute, something's up.
Something's up with this.
So as soon as he's done, he goes back up to his hostage. Hostage is like, what was all that noise? What was all that commotion? He's like, just some more rodents I had to take care of. And then we get towards the end of the comic book where the hostage kind of messes up a bit and gives a little bit of info to the Green Goblin that lets him know who Spider-Man is. And TK, he's gonna read it. He's gonna read what the hostage said, and then he's gonna read what the Green Goblin said. Which sets up 798, the second part of Go Down Swinging. TK.
Ready for the
here we go. Here's the voice.
Wait, this is the hostage, so I don't know. I can't.
Which is the hostage?
The one about to talk right now. The one that's talking. So
should I do the hostage voice and then you do?
Yeah.
Check it out. I'll be the hostage, and then he's gonna read Norman Osborn's part. Here you go. You ready? You put him through the worst night of his life, threw his girl off the bridge, and he still fought his way back. That's who he is. And while he'll always beat you, next page.
Avengers, no sir.
Oh, but wait a minute. Check this out, because this is his part right now. I'm gonna say this again. I'm gonna start from the beginning, and here's this part. You put him through the worst night of his life, threw his girl off a bridge, and he still fought his way back. That's who he is. And while he'll always beat you.
Who is that? Let me see. His girl off the bridge. For years I couldn't remember. The itch I could never scratch. But now, of course, Peter Parker is Spider-Man.
So now he knows the identity of Spider-Man. And then you turn to the next page and you find out who the hostage is.
J.
What is it? J. Jonah Jameson.
Oh God, the guy that hated Spider-Man from the beginning, gives him so much crap, is the one that's actually held hostage. And now at that point he
So throughout this whole time he had kidnapped J. Jonah Jameson, and he was trying really hard not to give out any info. And he was kind of trying to tell the Green Goblin, listen, no matter what you do, he's always gonna beat you. You put him through the worst night of his life when he threw his girl off the bridge, and he still fought back to beat you. He didn't mean to bring that up, but then that clicked on Green Goblin.
What?
He was like, wait a minute, his girl off the bridge?
He was probably thinking like, what? All that work I did on that wall? That splattered? I was nowhere near it. But yeah. At the end, Jonah Jameson was like, what have I done?
Yeah, he knew he messed up. He was like, oh man, what did I do? And Green Goblin was like, now I know what I gotta do, and I know I have the greatest weapon now. I have his identity. Which leads us to the second part, 798, of Go Down Swinging. Bam! Artwork again, Alex Ross. Look how dope that is.
Official. He even cut out the eyes. You know how they be like...
Oh yeah, he did. Oh yeah, he did. So now, this now takes place as soon as he found out the identity of Spider-Man Peter Parker. He makes his way to the Daily Bugle. Earlier I said Daily Bugle. The Daily Bugle, and he's attacking them. And from there, what is it that's going on?
So from there, he goes in there. He's like, Goblin's here. So I like how they put like, since Daily Bugle's been attacked so many times by so many villains, they're not really frightened like that. And on top of that, they have like a procedure for something like that, and that's funny. That's like, I should get paid extra.
They were kind of like, they were scared, but they weren't scared. They were kind of like, all right, it's the Green Goblin again.
Yeah.
Oh, it's him again. And Green Goblin's in Green Goblin mode. He's like, hey, what's up, guys? This is what's gonna go down. You guys are all gonna die. And they kind of were like, right. And he was like, this is about to go down. And they're like, Spider-Man's gonna come. And then he sees Peter Parker. He's like, get your boy Spider-Man. Even though he knows it's him.
Mr. Parker.
Yeah.
He's friends with the with the bug. Aren't you, Petey?
Mm-hmm.
Be a good boy and bring the bug here.
Yep.
Lickety split.
And he's kind of like messing with him.
Lickety split.
He knows he's Spider-Man, but he's like, yo, go get Spider-Man.
Yeah, look at
things
that.
about to go down right now. And he's playing along.
Go transform. And he's also interested in the spider itself.
Yeah.
That's the whole thing. He always knew him as Spider-Man because he never like really got the identity. So he never fought Peter Parker like that. So it was just like a, I guess like a Joker Batman kind of thing. That Joker doesn't care about the identity. Well, actually it's different with that aspect because he's like, I don't care if you're Bruce Wayne. I just care about the Batman kind of.
Yeah.
So
and what's going on also with this is like there's like, we won't get into detail with that. When you guys read it, you can talk about it. There's like a metal that was like missing. It's like an explosive, damaging type of material, and that's what something that Peter Parker was working on in the the Daily Bugle. And I guess they're trying to track it down to avoid it from detonating. But guess what? The Green Goblin has it, and he's gonna like let it off right there. So he's kind of letting him know you only have this certain amount of time. So go get Spider-Man. And I think at the same time, this guy Jonah Jameson.
yeah, JJ
Jameson.
Still a hostage. If you got like, he's on a chair, he's tied up, and now he's going through. Oh shit! I messed up horribly. Like I know what it is to lose somebody, and he starts naming the people he lost himself. So he's like, oh man, I gotta do something. I gotta save Petey, whatever he calls it, Parker, and yeah, so we got a little splash scenes. There's the bomb Mo's been talking about, and we get into Spider-Man. Spider-Man comes in.
Yep, to save the day. He's here fighting the Green Goblin. He figures out a way to use his webbing to kind of control the explosion. It's gonna explode. Green Goblin's still messing with him, and it does detonate. And then Spider-Man is flown out, and then Green Goblin is also flown out. Spider-Man survives it, but not Green Goblin. What happened with Green Goblin? Yeah.
That's literally how he looked in the Spidey. Yeah, he's all shanked up. He's like on a, I don't know.
It looks like he's like
done.
He's dead.
He's dead.
If
you guys didn't know, like he was there dying, and he's using his last words. Doesn't matter now, does it? And then goes through the whole conversations, and then Spidey's like, I'm sorry, I wish I could have saved you.
Spider-Man is always Spider-Man. Always a nice guy. He's like, damn. Yeah, damn. I didn't want it to go down this way. I didn't want you to die, and I always try to make things work, and blah 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 blah. And then we got the Green Goblin, who pretty much. He had a few words before that.
Yeah, I mean, they weren't that, like, I guess, okay, it added up. It was pretty cool. So he was like, Spider-Man goes, I'm sorry, I wish I could have saved you. I really do. And then he goes into, you really don't, you really do, don't you? Jesus. Well, Parker, wish granted.
So before we let you guys know what pops out, while Spider-Man was feeling bad and Green Goblin was kind of like saying, oh, this and that or whatever. He's kind of like messing with him. And then Spider-Man notices like the blood around him start to like rise up. And then from there, Green Goblin turns into...
Red Goblin.
There.
Yeah, I gotta show this one, right?
Now he turns into Red Goblin. Now before we continue with that, TK, you were mentioning that the Red Goblin, the name itself was being teased before this storyline.
Yeah, so we had somewhat of a, of an understanding that a storyline was gonna come out, and that Slott was gonna come out and write it, and he did, and now it's Red Goblin. Red Goblin was teased. We just didn't know who it was gonna be.
We didn't know who it was, what it was, when was it gonna pop out.
What his powers was gonna be, like what would happen, how would he look. We had nothing about that.
And Spider-Man quickly figured out what the Red Goblin is, which is pretty much Green Goblin and the Carnage symbiote put together. The Carnage symbiote and Green Goblin put together.
That's pretty badass.
So he showed the picture of what that looks like. And even if it wasn't Green Goblin, Carnage has always been an issue to Spider-Man that he can't even... There have been times that he can't even beat Carnage himself. He needs help. Carnage is a handful.
It would always be like Spider-Man and Venom versus Carnage or something. I mean, Spider-Man always hold his ground.
No, he does, but
now like Green Goblin and Carnage, it has to
put together.
Yeah, there's no way Spider-Man's gonna beat him too.
And Spider-Man quickly, he was like, wait a minute, this is gonna be a problem. So they do kind of fight, but he's kicking his ass.
There's a couple of interesting things in it because at first Spider-Man's like, yo, I can't fight this guy right now, but let me trace him. Throw the trace on him, and when he does do that, he starts swinging. He goes to like a near warehouse or abandoned building or whatever, an office. And he sees that Red Goblin comes in and he's like, what, you think you could trace me? Like, I feel everything in my body now. And that's because the symbiote himself is like his skin. So he could, like, to the next level, advance. So he can feel anything that attaches to him or anything like that. So we get that. And another cool thing is that his bombs, I don't know what they call, like the...
I think he can create...
The bombs itself that he has from Green
Goblin, he created from the symbiote.
He puts symbiotes more. Yeah. He puts the thing in it. So not only they're crazy and explosive and like dangerous, but on top of that, Spidey's spider sense does not work.
Oh, it doesn't work. Yeah, he didn't like sense it coming at all. Yep. So he's fighting all this, and he didn't see him coming. He didn't like sense none of this. So he knows. That's what Spider-Man wasn't like. Oh, I quit. I'm not gonna fight. He kind of knew like I need to regroup. So I'm out. But let me put a tracer, like he mentioned. But here comes Red Goblin going after him. He's like
all those things.
He's like, boy, you think it's gonna be this easy?
Boy, you don't know. Sugar, you don't know.
So here's the thing that is gonna lead toward the end of this storyline. Red Goblin kind of like is messing with Spider-Man. He's like, listen, I'm gonna make a deal with you. And TK, you're gonna let them know what it is.
Devil's bargain.
It's a devil's bargain, and this is something that you're gonna want to take. Cause if not, there's gonna be major consequences. So you have two decisions to make. So what is it that he tells him?
So he goes, give it up. Now and forever. Stop being Spider-Man and I'll let you live. That's the deal, no strings attached. But if I see one more web, one more out of you, if I catch you crawling up one more wall.
Like a cucaracha.
It's not just you. It's everyone you ever loved.
Now, I'm gonna stop him right there. Remember, he knows who Spider-Man is, Peter Parker. So he knows everyone now. Remember earlier in the video we talked about the connection that we were trying to figure out of who Spider-Man is? All those people that we listed, and if you read the comic, there's even a longer list. So when you said all the people you love, you know, it's a long list.
It goes into Mary Jane, your aunt, Robbie Betty, Jonah, you know, your mailman, your freaking dentist. This guy's crazy. The Carnage serum is showing. Like, symbiote is showing right now. You could tell. He's like, they're all dead. And not from a simple fall.
He's pretty much going to be tortured now.
Yeah. That was back from when I was green. That's pretty awesome. You could tell that, you know, I'm changed now. They'll die in ways only a Red Goblin could imagine.
Now, while he's saying this, Spider-Man is pretty much, they show him like taking off his shirt. You know, and then
oh shit, I gotta give up.
It's pretty much either you quit being Spider-Man or I'm gonna slaughter all your friends and family. You know, the next image you pretty much see it's Spider-Man's uniform hanging by a pole. Like he pretty much like, okay, you know, there it is. I choose Spider-Man as no more. Oh. Yeah, Pikachu. I choose Spider-Man to be no more. But towards the end, Peter Parker's like, there's other ways to beat you, so I'm gonna figure out another way. A little. Kind of like little cheesy moment.
It was like a reverse of a villain. You know when the superheroes beat a villain, they're like, but you didn't kill me, and that was your biggest. It was something like that. It was like, but that's where you made your mistake, Norman. Because I'm still here. I'm Peter Parker, the man in Spider-Man. Like what?
a little cheesy moment, but he pretty much says Spider-Man's not around, but I have another way of beating you, and I'm gonna figure it out. And he has to figure it out because he's dealing with Red Goblin, who's a handful. But he knows that if he even comes out a little bit of Spider-Man, his family and friends, even the mailman and the dentist, they're all in danger.
And obviously, in that mindset he was going to, it would be like, hey, listen, like every other character that would say, hey, listen, I'm gonna make you suffer before you die.
Yeah.
So I'll kill off everybody and let you know that I killed them off, and then kill you. So what do you? That's Red Goblin. That's it. That's issue 797, 98. Waiting for the next one. What did you think about Red Goblin? What do you think about the whole thing?
One is dope villain, new villain that he has to deal with. If it's not new, but it is kind of new. You know, it is the Green Goblin Carnage, you know, put together. So it's pretty much Green Goblin juiced up on that Carnage juice.
Juiced up again, yeah.
Juiced up again, and now he has this power of Carnage, but also knowing who Spider-Man is. I'm very curious to see what Spider-Man's gonna do to beat him and who's gonna help him with it, because he can't do it by himself.
I'm pretty sure he's gonna need somebody. He's gonna need one of the even like Agent or Anti-Venom.
Anti-Venom, which if I'm not mistaken is Flash Thompson.
Yeah, I think Eddie Brock is back. Yeah, Venom's back.
Yeah, Eddie Brock is.
He needs some kind of help, either some superhero or a villain that just dislikes Red Goblin.
Yeah, and I'm curious to see what's the new way that they'll beat him, because I don't think they'll go back to the old way of like the bionic beams, the sound to like kind of release the Venom, not the Venom, the Carnage symbiote in there. So far from these 2 issues, I give it 4 out of 5 stars. I can't give it a 5-star right now because it's not done. I'm looking forward to the new issues. What about yourself? What do you rate it?
Same thing, 4 out of 5 stars. That's it. I'm intrigued. The artwork is perfect. I love it. The covers are great. The storyline itself, I thought it was gonna be cheesy. Red Goblin with the But when you actually see it happen, you see Spider-Man vulnerable.
Yeah, pretty much. Vulnerable.
But and he's like, all right, man, let me hang my T-shirt on this pole.
Which is pretty much what it was symbolizes. That it's like, look, hey, oh, wait a minute, hey, here you go, you got what you want. But he's kind of saying, hey, I need to figure something out because I ain't gonna just let this be. I'm enjoying it. Smart. No, it is, because
he gave up real quick and he was like, yo, you know what?
Let me figure this out. You know, other than that, you know, that's pretty much our review of these 2 issues. Look for our next review.
Spoiler alert?
Yes. Yeah, which one?
We just told the whole story.
Oh, no, listen.
That's what it is.
The title says it all when you said it there. So when you do click on it, you're doing it to yourself. You know what I mean? But other than that, we will be continuing to review this comic book. Look for our next video, which is going to be dealing with the storyline of Venomized, which is
Venom.
Look at that. Oh, there it is.
There we go.
That one also has 2 issues out, so that's gonna be our next video. Other than that, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. Follow us on Instagram, Dudes Talking Comics, and we also do have a podcast out there, which you can listen for free. Download the Anchor app. We'll see you guys around. Any final words?
Oh, that's it. See you next time.
Tweet, 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 twerk.
What the?
Is that what it is? Tweet, tweet, tweet. No, it's tweet, tweet, tweet.
Go, web, go.
Later.